Hi, this is the James. I had a 15-minute video prepared, reading off of an old blog post of mine, but I decided it was too long and boring for most people. But I did want to mention something, so I'm going to just give a short rant here, and I hope that you will look into it. I'm constantly annoyed by seeing on the internet all these thousands of people constantly claiming that there are 800 U.S. military bases around the world. It's utter nonsense, and I challenge anyone to prove me wrong. First, you need to look up the DoD assets. They put it on the internet every few years, dod.mil. I'll put a link below. And they list every piece of property that they own around the world. Amongst them, there are about 430 some domestic military bases, which are mostly local National Guard units. And as you know, most of the bases in America, the bigger ones, are really giant training camps. But anyway, if you add them into the real bases around the world, you can say there's this many worldwide. So, and also if you take the grand total of their master list, which is a giant PDF you can look up, yeah, it's 800 and something. So that's what people are doing. They're looking at the bottom line number of 800 and something DoD assets. Well, if anyone besides me would have bothered to look up, or carefully read, I should say, what this list is, you would see that this is not a list of 800 military bases, it's 800 assets. Now, what is an asset? It's something that they own. So, there are so many things on there. There's like a post office in Germany. There's a guard shack in Portugal. There's a radio tower on the Korean border. There's ammo sheds and latrines and storage shacks and what have you, motels, golf courses, all kinds of crap that is not military bases. If you go through the list and count how many actual military bases they are listing that are not in America, what's the real number? Funny that no one but me has bothered to do this. Nobody. Chinese officials are always putting out tweets and stuff saying, disparaging America for having 800 military bases. If I remember right, Putin even mentioned it in an interview or something recently, that we have 800 military bases. So even he is fooled by this. He doesn't have the correct information. It's crazy. It's on the internet all the time. People always say that. John Pilger put it in his big documentary about how evil China is and all that crap. I read it in books. There's hundreds of memes and phony maps people put out all over the internet. I thought about putting them in this video, flashing them along. I could have probably found 100 of them. All the maps are crap. These maps that the anti-war sites make to try and make it look more scary than it really is, they're always marking off almost every country in the world as having a U.S. military presence, including Russia and China, which is nonsense. America does not have a military base in Russia or China, right? Well, according to them, we do, because we have a dozen or two U.S. Marines stationed at the U.S. embassies there to protect them, right? So the Marine Guards count as a U.S. military presence, so they mark all of Russia as a country in the world that has a U.S. military presence. Give me a freaking break. How stupid is that? They're implying that we have a base there. No, we have Marines guarding the embassy there. That's not quite the same thing, is it? So they are deceptive on purpose. And most maps show Thailand as having a base of ours. Really, the Thais kicked us out, what was it, 1972 or something? We don't have a base there. Same with Hong Kong. We used to dock our ships there to refuel. So everyone marks that. But Hong Kong's part of China now, and they don't allow that anymore. So why is Hong Kong listed on all these maps? It's not even a country of any sort. I could go on and on. All the maps are deceptive on purpose, especially in the past 5 years or so, I think it is. people started mentioning lily pads, which is not enough people to call it a base, but there are troops there, so they have these lily pads all over Africa, implying that American troops are all over Africa. There's a few trainers here and there, and there's some missions and cargo transport, landing strips, and old training ops and all that stupid crap. But there's no actual bases in Africa, I think, except for a naval base in Kenya, and then there's one in Djibouti or something. But we're not all over Africa like they claim. The African Union rejected all this base crap years ago, and there is an article about that. I'll put a link to that too. So everyone that's just looking at the bottom number and not reading the whole PDF, they're wrong. They're not looking at the whole story. And people on the internet just repeat this crap over and over and over. And there's this myth out there. So many people believe that America has 800 foreign military bases, and it's utter nonsense. Read the list. I'll give one quick example. Is there's, I believe, one Air Force base in Portugal, and it's listed as 6 listings because, you know, that base has an ammo shack, and it has a radar building, and this, that, and the other. And there's 6, it's counted as 6 assets, but it's one property in one town. It's one Air Force base. So really, do we have 6 Air Force bases in the same spot somehow? Is there an Air Force base inside their ammo shed? I don't think so. It's one freaking base. It's not 6 bases in Portugal. It's one. That's just one example out of hundreds if you go through the list. So many bases are counted as 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 bases because of this way that they list it. Another thing that gets me is the hotel in Tokyo. It's a reception area. It's a hotel in the middle of Tokyo. It's not a military base, but that's an asset, right? I mean, so everyone else is counting it as a military base. I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to spend hours pasting stuff like that into this video. You can look at it yourself. Quit being lazy, like everyone has been so far. I'm telling you, the whole concept of having 800 military bases is ludicrous anyway, because how could it possibly be managed or afforded? Or how would any country have enough troops to do such a thing? It's just ridiculous. It is not going on. And there is no map that accurately shows 800 actual bases around the world. I would love to see one if anyone thinks that's actually real, because it's not real. It never has been real. I have gone through the list and picked out what is a real military base, and I made lists. And if I remember right, this was years ago. I updated it about a year ago, so it's not too current, but it's real close, a lot closer to reality. And nearest I could figure, there's 126 bases in something like 32 countries, or maybe it's 23 countries, but who cares, right? That's a lot of bases. It's way too many bases, and it is breaking America's economy. It's stupid, it's imperialistic, and it's way too many. One's too many. So why exaggerate something that's so bad already? But making 126 bases into 800 is just so stupid. People just believe this hook, line, and sinker without looking into it. How can anyone believe that crap? Especially other world leaders and politicians from China and Russia and everywhere else, and all the so-called netizens. They just believe anything they see and parrot it over and over and over. And it makes you wonder why everyone's worried about AI taking over when 98% of the crap on the internet is parroted bullshit and lies and deceptions. Almost everyone's a keyboard warrior these days, and they don't bother to look up anything themselves. So I wouldn't worry about any machines utilizing the internet's knowledge to take over a damn thing. Anyway, I'm going to put some links below, and I will link to my lists. If you know of any bases that I missed, let me know, and I will update this. But for now, that's all I have to say, and I sincerely hope people will get off of this ridiculous 800 bases myth. Please look into it, and have a nice day. Thanks.